doubt. You have my attention here right now. Love from the outset, yours from the start. You broke through the darkness to have my heart. If you know it, sing it out, come on. I'm lost to the world.
The supernatural, and including especially the Holy Spirit. And so we've been prayerful about what's going to happen. We know that you are all here by God's hand and that he's not going to waste his time, and we're excited to see what God has for us.
And since we're going to talk about the power of the Holy Spirit and the supernatural power of the Holy Spirit, let's start off the right way, and that's by appealing to God, who is already here in the building, and just yielding to him to get out of the way and let him have his way.
I'm a grandfather. Look at me, everybody. I am the oldest person you will see on this stage. Fred is a mere child to me. I'm the oldest person. I may be the oldest person in the room. And I've been talking to people your age for 40 years, and the funny thing about that is that you don't get any older. You're the same age, and I keep getting older, and I keep wondering from year to year, will they be able to relate to what I'm saying? So let me tell you a little about my history. My dad, when I was a kid, hardly a week went by but what my dad didn't say to me. When I was your age, I used to get up at 4 in the morning, walk 12 miles to school. Uphill. Both ways. Through the snow. Barefoot. No. Naked. Many mornings I was long lines of naked children going to school. It was so cool. And I used to say to my friends, because I thought this was unusual, I would say to them, tell me the truth, did your moms and dads have to walk many miles to school? And they all had the same response. Except for one of my friends who said, no, as I recall, my dad only used to have to walk about 9. But he used to have to raft part of it. That's my dad if I said to him, middle of February, Pennsylvania is where I grew up, middle of February up near Lake Erie. Oh, man, it's cold out there. My dad would say, you have no idea what cold is. When I was a kid, I kept getting my lips and my tongue stuck on that old flagpole. But, Dad, did you say you kept getting them stuck? You did that more than once. That's my dad if I said to him, boy, twisted that ankle, there's some pain. My dad would say, you have no idea what pain is. When I was a kid, pain really hurt. Walk it off. That was my dad's solution to any malady, sickness, or injury. Walk it off. Any of you? Huh? You heard that? Yeah. Walk it. Bloody nose. Walk it off. Diarrhea. Walk it off. Thanks, Dad. I think it's working. I had appendicitis, my dad told me to walk it off. Now listen, he's not evil, he's just not a doctor. He didn't know I had it. I didn't know that I had it, but I did. When I woke up at 4 a.m., my dad was 3 feet away going, I'm so sorry. Oh, if I'd known it was appendicitis, I never would have. I'm so sorry. I thought it was a gallstone or a twisted bowel.
I can't be thankful enough for what you guys do, because when I was walking by, I could just imagine years ago when someone like you was standing at that line processing the shoebox that meant so much to me and to my family. I was born in the Middle East, in a very sensitive country that it's very hard to reach. And about 98% of the population in my country were not Christians. So it was very difficult not only to hear the gospel, but also being a Christian there is very hard, very dangerous. In fact, my family were personally persecuted for being Christians and for their faith. Not only we faced persecution at that part of the world, but we also faced poverty. And I remember that my dad, even though he was working 2 jobs, morning and night, it was still very difficult for him to provide for us our daily food. Yet in the midst of those circumstances, we understood the power of prayer and how even though we're in poverty, this is not going to determine who we are, because we have a God who knows what we need before we even ask. So we decided as a family that if we ever gonna need anything, we were gonna pray for it. And as a child, I just prayed for everything that was in my heart, because I knew that God is my only option, and I trusted that He would answer my prayers. So I prayed for God to send me new toys, hygiene items, school supplies, those things my parents could not afford for me. But one year, our family had a very specific need that they could not afford, and this need was to have a radio to hear the news and to hear a Christian radio station. But we couldn't afford it, it was too expensive. But because our family trusted God on every need we have, this was one need that we did the same. We didn't know how we were gonna get it. One day we went to church, and they said it's a very special day because children will receive a very special gift. And when I heard that I was going to receive a gift, I could not believe it, because receiving gifts in my case was not normal, as my parents could not afford buying gifts for me even on my birthday. So I went to the sanctuary, and I saw there were huge brown boxes on top of the stage, and I heard my name personally called to go and receive that shoebox. But before I received my shoebox, I heard the gospel. I heard a lot of gospel verses, and I heard worship music. I was able to know that this gift, most importantly, came from the God who I have faith in and I have prayed for. So I heard my name, I received my shoebox, and I remember how excited I felt. My heart was beating so fast, and I couldn't even wait to open my shoebox. As we opened the boxes, my brother also received a shoebox, and as we opened the boxes, we could not believe our eyes when we saw that everything in the box was brand new, because we always received used things. But personally, what stood out to me in my shoebox was a very beautiful slinky. I didn't know how to play with it, but that was the point. It was so exciting. And then I figured out how to play with it. I put it on top of the stairs and watched it come down. I loved it. It was one of my favorite toys. And I received a beautiful Beanie Baby that became one of my best friends, and it was a new toy. It was very personal. But the biggest surprise for our family is finding another small box inside the shoebox. And as we took this box out and we opened it, we could not believe our eyes, because inside that small box, that's what we had. It's a mini radio. And as we looked at it, we could not believe that out of millions of shoeboxes, that box will come specifically to our family what we needed and prayed for. As a child, this taught me the importance of trusting God no matter the need we have. And from that day till now, every need I have, I bring it to God in prayer, and He never fails me. He always answers prayers. So I hope that you're encouraged by that, because to me, when I see how God used one shoebox to create this story, you guys have been processing so many thousands boxes, and those are all stories that are yet to be written. So thank you for what you do, because without people like you, my story would not have been possible. So I'm thankful, I appreciate you, and because my prayer has a big part of my life, I would ask that we would pray over the shoeboxes right now, because I think the bigger thing that we need to do and send with these boxes are prayers. So let's put our hand, find a shoebox near you, and put your...
And I know you're from a different city. You might say, well, I don't care about Minneapolis, I only care about Fargo-Moorhead. You got Mawson, Fargo-Moorhead. You have witch covens in Fargo-Moorhead. I just did a research project on your city. You have a pagan pride festival in your city. The witches meet there. So it's called Hidden in Plain Sight. Everything you see today, you will see in your own city if you know how to look. Jesus said, eyes to see, ears to hear. Now, you're not going to have as many because the city's bigger here than yours, but you're going to have all the same things. Hindu temples, Buddhist temples, witch covens, mosques. Like I said, I'm doing a research project on your city right now. Your city is one of the fastest growing cities in America right now. So if it's not there, it's coming there.